At 10:29 on the morning of May 30th, 2002, the 5555 bell code from the firehouse that stands on Liberty Street that overlooks the World Trade Center was heard by the hundreds of people waiting silently in the streets alongside and beyond what had been the site of the Twin Towers on West Street, in the heart of New York City's financial district. And at the same time, millions of others in their homes and businesses across the nation participated by television. That fire code was the first signal of the simple ceremony that accompanied the removal of the last of the steel columns that supported the tower known by its street address as 2 World Trade Center. That sound of 5 blasts in a sequence of 4 announces a death of someone in the ranks of New York City firefighters. And as the last sound dies away, the flag of the United States at each firehouse is lowered to half-mast. On this day, it was the signal for 6 stretcher bearers to carry a symbolic empty stretcher on which was a folded American flag and load it into a waiting ambulance. That flag and that stretcher is for the spiritual remains of those who perished that day and those who have not yet been found. Similarly, the 58-ton steel column, number 1001B of World Trade Center, covered in black muslin and draped with an American flag, carries spray-painted farewells and the numbers of emergency workers who were lost that dreadful day in September. There are 27 from the New York City Police Department, 37 from the Port Authority Police, and 343 from the New York Fire Department. As the ambulance slowly made its way up the steep incline from the pit below, it was accompanied by a steady drum beat. Brethren. On West Street, the procession of ambulance and steel column halted, and the mournful sound of echo taps filled the air as uniformed guards of honor saluted their fallen and missing brethren. Overhead will pass a formation of 5 helicopters and the command to move the procession forward along West Street to Canal Street will be given. The procession of pipers and drummers and uniformed emergency personnel passed before crowds of well-wishers standing shoulder to shoulder and dozens deep as they applauded their heroes. Some had arrived as early as 8 a.m. and still others were just arriving, joining the crowds along West Street.
can try to...
We'd like to welcome you to the memorial service for the local residents of Larchmont, Mamaroneck, and the village of Mamaroneck and the town of Mamaroneck, in honor of the friends and loved ones that we lost on September 11th in 2001, I'm sorry. And we would also like to have you join with us for a moment of silence in honor of the first tower that came down at 8:46. We were going to take a moment of silence, and then Bob Meglio, the chairman of Fine, will be following up with some remarks. And after some members of our community have spoken to us and our elected officials have said a few words, we're going to have a dedication of a memorial plaque just over there on the corner, and it should take just a few more minutes beyond that. Thank you again for coming. Will you please share with us now, and members of the community, a moment of silence in honor of those who have lost on 2001, September 11th.
Welcome, friends. It's hard to believe it's been 3 years since the tragic events of September 11th changed our lives as we once knew it. Today, we come together to remember our friends and our loved ones who touched our lives and left their mark upon us. We are here today because they are here with us right now and always. I'm here today as president of Friends Indeed, Fine, but more importantly, I'm here today as a father, a husband, a son, a neighbor, a friend. I am happy to report that Fine continues on its mission and has raised over $40,000 this year alone towards educational accounts of the children of our lost friends, and will continue to do that each and every year. But today we come together not to walk, not to plant trees, but to reflect. Today we come to pay tribute by dedicating the memorial garden we started last year to our friends, by unveiling a memorial stone to forever acknowledge, as the plaque says, our friends lost but never forgotten. There are certain things and special people who shape our lives and make us who we are. September 11th is just one of those things that has done just that, but it's not just a date. It's a part of us, just as our loved ones are. They were bankers, they were brokers, they were cooks, carpenters, policemen, firemen. They were husbands, our wives, our fathers, our mothers, our sons, our daughters. They are our friends. Let's take a moment to thank those who have blessed our lives. Helen Bolovolsky, John Howard Bolton, Doug Karpiloff, Maurice Kelly, Helen Crossan-Kittle, Patricia Helen Kittle, Frank Costner, Edward Luckett, John McElwain, Christopher Oglowitz, John Rio, John Swain, and all our friends who have touched our hearts and changed our lives. We do remember. There are places I'll remember all my life, though some have changed. Some forever, not for better. Some have gone, and some remain. All the places had their moments, with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. Though I know I'll never lose affection for the people and things that went before, I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love them all. Thank you very much for coming today, and thank you for your continued love and support.
Thank you very much, Bob. It's fitting that we all join here, and I'm so happy to see so many people here, because today, by presidential proclamation, has been named Patriots' Day by the President of the United States, to be kept as a remembrance for those who were lost on September 11th. I want to thank Bob Meglio and all the people who work with FIND for their steadfastness and constancy in continuing to remember not only those who were lost, but the families from our community. And we love you all, and we want you to know how much we support you and your children, and appreciate your courage, and know that we're with you in solidarity. Mir Bialo.
Good morning, and thank you for coming, everyone. Thanks particularly to Bob and Noel for continuing this tradition. It's great to see so many people who are here to honor the memory of those who were lost and to show respect and affection for the families of those who were lost. This is one of those days that will live forever, and we will never forget here in this community those we lost and the tragedy of September 11th. Thank you. Mayor Phil Tricoletti.
Thank you, and it's great to see everyone here, especially our emergency services personnel throughout the village of Larchmont, village of Mamaroneck, and the town. We're all honored to be here today, and we're very grateful for Bob for inviting us all. And we're here to remember all those souls that were lost on 9/11, especially those here in the village of Mamaroneck, village of Larchmont, and the town. And today, FIND is going to unveil the memorial stone, which will ensure that all future generations that come to this park and live in this great community will never forget the sacrifice that not only the people who passed on that day, but also their families. Thank you.
Stand with my brother Rabbi Jeff Serkman, and we in turn stand on behalf of other clergy and with them across this community and these faith communities. Monsignor Sullivan from St. John and Paul, Monsignor Kenny from St. Augustine, Father James Healy from St. Vito's have massed this hour, and the two Monsignors will be here at the 9:45 moment, at which point we dedicate the plaque. And then also I bring greetings from our faith communities and across our traditions. My rabbi brother can teach us in the wonderful tradition of rabbinical teaching and guidance as to what it means to, a year later and in succession 3 years later, mark moments, as we will do in a tradition of the marker at the base of the tree, which was planted but a year ago. We remember, brothers and sisters, men and women, boys and girls, we bear witness, even as to my right stand those who represent those who rescue and restore and enforce the law and maintain the community and its standards of compassion and justice for which we care so much. If anything has been lifted up, in so many ways we have learned lessons. We have learned about heroes and who they are and what they mean and what they bring, beyond those who gain notoriety from headlines, but who come across with care and compassion and love to which we bear witness here and now. And then for those who have fallen, we remember.
In Jewish tradition, when someone dies, we consecrate the memorial with the unveiling of a stone, the footstone at graveside a year later. It's Yortzeit, the time to mark and remember. And we say a prayer that year and every year, a prayer called Kaddish. We've been saying it for thousands of years. It's a prayer at the time of death, remembering those who have gone, which makes no mention of death, but thanks God for the gift of life. If the victims of 9/11, those from our local Larchmont Mamaroneck community, the people we knew, the people Bob spoke about, could speak to us now, they'd be sending a message not of death, but of life, refusing to allow terror to turn our world upside down. Mary Lee Hall wrote a poem that I think the victims, those who died tragically, would speak to us today if they could. If I should die and leave you here a while, be not like others sore undone who keep long vigil by the silent dust and weep. For my sake turn again to life and smile, nerving thy heart and trembling hand to do that which will comfort other souls than thine. Complete these dear unfinished tasks of mine, and I perchance may therein comfort you. So may their memories now and always ever bring blessing.
I remember so when the second plane hit the South Tower, I'd like for everyone again to honor a moment of silence. Yeah, I think they have those poems.
As the soot and the dirt and ash rained down, we became one color. As we carried each other down the stairs of the burning building, we became one class. As we lit candles of waiting and hope, we became one generation. As the firefighters and police officers fought their way into the infrared, we became one gender. As we fell to our knees in prayer for strength, we became one faith. As we whispered or shouted words of encouragement, we spoke one language. As we gave our blood in lines a mile long, we became one body. As we mourned together the great loss, we became one family. As we cried tears of grief and loss, we became one soul. As we retell with pride of the sacrifice of heroes, we become one people. We are one color, one class, one generation, one gender, one faith, one language, one body, one family, one soul, one people. We are the power of one. We are united. We are America. I'm Stephanie Burrell of Troop 1831. Memories are all we sometimes have, when we are alone or when we are mad. Memories are all there is sometimes, when we are happy or when we are sad. Just remember the memories again. They will always, never, never end. Happy times will bring a smile. Memories last for a long, long while. Memories are part of our souls. They remember our every precious goals. Memories are a part of our past. They will never compare and contrast. Just always know when you are down, when you are left alone with a frown, memories bring you up and smiling, because memories are always piling. Memories are delicate fibers that are woven in. They are the beginnings to the end. Never forget the future or past. Memories will always continue to last. I'm Vivian DeBuno of Troop 1826.
My name is Carolyn, and I'm from Troop 559, and I'm going to read a poem I made myself. a nice day at the Twin Towers until 8:45 a.m. 2 planes crashed into the Twin Towers, and it was a terrorist attack. It was Bin Laden's men, and that's why we honor the firemen and the policemen. Thank you.
For the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, sing, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly strewn, and the rockets roared the bombs bursting in air. He flew through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So Carolyn and Eugene, please, if you will, take this cover off of this stone. It's a very good. I would urge you, as this memorial continues and as the remembrance continues, to be sure to reach out and greet one another with a word of thanks, with a word of greeting, with a word of connecting and connection, because we all are in this life and in this community we share.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our memorial ceremony for the victims of the 9/11 terrorist attack, which happened 4 years ago. I'd like to introduce the Girl Scouts from Larchmont and Mamaroneck and ask their color guard to proceed over here and stand on the hill. Girls. Thank you very much, girls. It should be noted that the plaque here on the rock was dedicated and provided by these Girl Scouts 4 years ago. It was their idea. Now, I would like to ask Rabbi Jeffrey Siegelman, who's the spiritual leader of the Westchester Jewish Center, to give us an invocation. Rabbi Siegelman.
Dearest God, we stand before you today to remember the events of September 11th, 2001. We stand here today to remember those who fell that day and those whose lives were irreparably changed. And we stand before you to pray. We ask that you pray, we ask that you grant us that our souls may be connected to those who fell, that our souls may be connected to those whose lives were hurt and damaged. We ask that our souls be connected to the survivors who struggle each day to make life right. Dear God, we ask you to open our souls, for we know that in finding our souls, we will find the courage to move forward, and we will find the love to share bonds of friendship and family and community. We ask you, God, to help us to bear with great courage the battles that lie ahead, battles against hatred, battles against discrimination, battles against fear. Dear God, as we remember September 11th, we offer our prayer that in the times ahead, there will be peace, there will be understanding, and that the memories of those who have fallen will not be forgotten, and their deaths shall not be in vain. Amen.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. I'd like now to ask Tony Marcella and Jane Schumer to come up to sing a patriotic song, and he told me which one it was, but I forgot.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber winds of green, for purple mountains' majesty, above a fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Tony and Jane. Now, I'd like to ask Honorable Ken Bialo, Mayor of the Village of Larchmont, to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming, and thanks very much to the contingents from all of the police departments and the fire departments for coming and helping make this a solemn occasion. The one thing that struck me this morning when I got up and I thought about this ceremony was how many awful things have happened in the world since September 11th, 2001, and how much our attention has been diverted in the last 4 years by all of these awful events. For us, September 11th, however, is the searing single memory. It can never be lost. It will never be lost. We are here today to remind the families of those who were lost of our affection and support for them, and how we are humbled by their courage. We are here today to remind the officers of the emergency services how proud we were and are of their heroism on that day and their continued heroism in serving us. And we are here today in the hopes that by remembering as a community together, we can derive strength for going forward. We will not forget September 11th, no matter what, no matter where. We express our support and affection for the families of those deaths. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now I'd like to ask the Honorable Philip Trifoletti, Mayor of the Village of Mamaroneck, to make a few remarks. Mayor Trifoletti.
Thank you, Valerie. It's really great to see so many people here for 4 years. It shows how much that day impacted all of us. And it was a day much like today. On that day, there was a savage terrorist attack on innocent citizens of our nation in New New York City, in Washington, D.C., and in Pennsylvania. There were over 3,000 victims that day, casualties of our terrorist war. Unfortunately, since then, this nation has suffered an additional 1,800 casualties in the fight of that war. Many communities on September 11th suffered losses: husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, grandfathers, grandmothers. We must never forget their sacrifice and the ultimate sacrifice and loss of their survivors. From the events of 4 years ago, many members of our fire departments, our police department, and our EMS organizations became heroes on that day due to their sacrifice and their timeless recovery work. We must never forget and never let our guard down again. And we must never forget the ultimate sacrifice of the victims of the families here in our community. God bless you, and God bless this nation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We will now have the reading of the names of those who lost their lives from our 3 communities on September 11th. The names are here on the plaque. Helen Bevelovsky, Douglas G. Karpoloff, Frank J. Kestner, John T. McErlane Jr., John F. Swain, John A. Rio, J. Howard Bolton Jr., Edward H. Luckett, Christopher T. Orlowitz, Maurice P. Kelly, Helen Crossan Kittle, Patricia Helen Kittle. May we have a moment of silence in their memory, please. May they rest in peace. Now, we would like to invite first the Village of Larchmont, representatives from their fire department and their police department, to proceed up to the stone here and lay a wreath. Now representatives from the Village of Mamaroneck Police and Fire Departments. And now representatives from the town of Mamaroneck Police and Fire Departments, and if there's any representative here from the ambulance corps of either ambulance corps, they could come up too. We want to remember not only those who perished on 9/11, but we want to thank our own police, fire, and ambulance corps people for the very important role they played at that time, both downtown and in the Bronx, where they went into firehouses to cover the areas where the native firemen had gone down to Manhattan. So, and many, of course, police and fire personnel lost their lives at the ground zero, and even though they're not on this rock, we want to remember them. Now I would like to ask Reverend Peter Pompasello, parochial vicar of the Church of Saints John and Paul, to offer a benediction. Father Papacello.
We're all very familiar with the term rest in peace. And it's rest that we pray for those who have gone before us. That rest, that word in Latin is requiem. And that's where we get the term the requiem mass. I'd like to chant for you in Latin the song that would be prayed at every requiem mass. It's often prayed at Christian burials today. I'd like to read the words to you in English first, and then I'd like to chant them for you before we say our final prayer. The translation is, may God take you to himself. May angels lead you to the bosom of Abraham. Eternal rest grant to them, and let the perpetual light shine upon them in the eternal city, Jerusalem. In paradiso deducante angeli, in tuo adventu suscipiante martyres, et perducante in civitatem sancta Jerusalem, orus angelorum te suscipia, et umbrasum apere eterna habeas requiem. Let us pray. Lord our God, you are always faithful and quick to show mercy. Grant your mercy on our brothers and sisters who died on this day, September 11th, in 2001, so suddenly and so violently taken from us. Come swiftly to their aid. Grant us your comfort and your peace. We ask you this, who are Lord of all things, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you very much, Father Papacello. Before we adjourn, I would like Tony, Marcella, and Jane to come and lead us in song once more. And then I would like to ask a couple of the Girl Scouts who are not carrying flags to come down here, and they can pass out some flowers or hold some flowers, so everybody before they leave can throw a flower if they'd like to at the stone. When we finish these ceremonies, those who wish may cross the street over by Plates Restaurant, where there's a monument that was placed last year by the Fines organization, Friends Indeed. The police and fire will be dismissed after this song, but any of the people who are here who'd like to come across the street will be very happy to come across, and we can pay our respects over there at the other monument. But this official ceremony will be finished after the song that we're going to sing now.
In a show of unity, may I ask that we all hold hands as we sing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairie, to the Thank you very much, everyone. God bless.
Thank you very much, and thank you, policemen and firemen, police ladies and fire ladies, if any of you are here. You're very respectful to make the ceremony so dignified by your appearance and your attitude. We want to thank you for showing up this morning. And here are the Girl Scouts. They're going to put some flowers down. I think we should give a hand to the Girl Scouts because they're the ones who thought this whole thing up originally. And we have some flowers here, and if anybody would like to come up, the Girl Scouts will stand here and they'll hand you a flower. And thank you very much.
Will you a flower?
We'll go across the street in about 3 minutes.
Here.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Get mine.
Okay, let's put your toys away so we can go.
Yes, and are we leaving?
Yes, I was going to give something back. You stay right here.
So you were supposed to say rest in peace. Did you say rest in peace?
Some streets are state streets, so he has influence there.
Would you two like throw some flowers?
Okay, girls, let's go.
Everybody give her a round.